Okay, I guess we're here. Hello everyone, hello friends, hello newcomers to this cosmic site of celestial rhythms run by myself, Koji Vihara, musician and astrologer. Anyway, we are celebrating the high point of the summer season as we speak. This is the days around Lionsgate, and I show you that this is a very special day energetically in many ways, and this year particularly so, as on that 8th of August we have the Mars-Saturn opposition right here in the first degrees of Aries and Libra. This is a very powerful signature, a powerful symbol for radical moves, for taking charge, discipline, and going forth with a tough decision at times, and breaking ground, literally breaking direction it can mean, and that is actually what we will be experiencing. Already started, as I say, since yesterday when the Sun entered 1315 in Leo, which is the beginning of Hexagram 7, which is really the heart of the sign Leo, as you can see here in the diagram of the zodiac. If we zoom in, that's where we are, 1315 till 18 degrees 52 and 30 seconds. That is the center part, the heart of the line, hexagram 7, which is the army, which is taking charge, pushing through, even in spite of radical challenges, and that is what we are laying ground for. We are at the center of summer season, as you can see. This is when summer starts here at 0 degree Cancer, and it goes into fall equinox September 23rd around. This is the high point, and if we look at the energy diagram for the seasons, the high point is always at the center. So we are really at the high point of summer. We are really in the most intense and forceful energy as an army definitely can be. So excuse me, but just quickly here, running you through a couple sites on the internet. 7 is discipline. This is the constellation of the lines. You see, it's the second line is the ruler, which is the general, which is the one which not holds community together through wisdom but through power. Wisdom would be up here. That is then another hexagram, which we will eventually one day look at, I guess. Yeah, let me just stay focused here. So yeah, this is one of the greatest contributions of the human design system, that it gives us this correlation with the 64 hexagrams. Gate 7 is the role of the self's gate. It decides of what role we want to play in life, and that's very much a Leo theme, and it's about the alpha, being in the lead, being really bright and loud for good or bad, the design of leadership. Harmonic gate is 31 influence, and that is just more for those who are into the human design system. Other than that, forget that part. The 7th gate is part of the Sphinx cross. Now this gets interesting. Again, that was a Rauru through the channeling of the human design system has given us this information, and these were really extremely high frequency energies which came through, which gave us humanity this amazing amalgamation of the Chinese CHING, which is 5,000 years old at least, probably much older, and astrology, the zodiac, the 12 signs, and the overlay, a pretty amazing this synchronization. I keep raving about it. So this is the cross of the Sphinx. And then we have a second cross, which is the 0 points of the cardinal signs, the beginning of the seasons and the midpoints of the seasons. This is the 8 directions of the compass, of the 8 directions of orientation in space. The 8 is a super powerful number. So yes, we have the let me show you the other picture too, as I have it open. Just have to find it. This is a really beautiful graph I found on the net, and I will share these links in the description of the video, as always. All the sites I'm usually quoting. Let me just move this into the center. Doesn't want to. Maybe here. Okay, well, here we go. Okay, to get it aesthetically perfect. Difficult. Okay. Anyway, no, I didn't want it that big. Bear with me. I'm not the best with my. Oops. Okay, now we got it. Okay, so this is Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, Ostara, Beltane, that's then mid spring, and then Lita, beginning of summer, high point of summer. Yes, we are here at the Lammas festival, the mid-season festival. So this is kind of the technical explanation of the power of Lionsgate in a very general way. And interestingly enough, the lion is related to the Sphinx, and the south is the main direction of where life energy comes from. This is the fuel station in a way we are here at. So again, this is naturally true for 90% of humanity living on the northern hemisphere, and then it's quite the opposite for those in the south. But so let's get into the other reasons why this is. Up to now, this was just general information, which is true for every year for this time of the year. But now, yes, I already said the one astrological outstanding moment is it's a full moon, and just a few hours prior to that Mars-Saturn opposition, which we will see is pretty epical in its redirecting energies into a radical shift, if you want, initiating momentum where we were hesitating, we were not fully ready. It's kind of really pushing everyone in their own way into a re-evaluation of direction. That's what it basically is. It's one of the 4 gates of direction in the mid-season points. So that's when we have the power to shift gears in a way. And then the other 4, the main anchor points, the cardinal cross, so to say, the equinoxes and the solstices. And this is the cross of love, of being anchored in that divine grid versus the 4 gates of direction, where we kind of have the most freedom to choose our own personal expression, if you want, and the cross of love, that other cross, again you see it in, let's just go back to this picture once more here, so you know what I speak of. Here, this is another picture of the same. The cross of love, the cardinal, and the cross of direction, and this is just a little bit off because here no, or is it, yes, I guess it goes, yeah, I think, yes, it goes backward. You see March, April, May, so it goes backwards, so you have to look at it that way, counterclockwise. So it's not really the best one for astrological purposes. You have to go backwards. This is then Beltane Mid-Spring Festival. This is Lita. This is the beginning of summer, and we are now at Lugnasa. Lammat is another name, and I just copied this here, also known as oops, you don't want to stay. Why that? Here we go. And let me just move it into the center here, so it's not behind my picture. So Lugnasat or Lunasat, interesting, the resonance of Luna and Sat, I guess is Struve, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that. First fruits, Lammas, Lunasa, Ast, amongst many other names. So yes, let's go back to what it is this year. I keep still introducing here what's going. So anyway, let's just really focus on the high point of this period around these few days between yesterday the 5th and probably the 10th of August, with the Sun in Hexagram 7, the army. This is the ingress chart of yesterday. Please take note here for Greenwich, for the global chart, Jupiter is right at the high point at zenith here, approached by Venus. It can't get much better. How much better can it get? That's kind of the message you get here. And this is now the critical point I want to make. This is the position of the Sun in the Declaration of Independence chart, as you see here on the side. I really I'm amazed how this chart has been brought to life, activated in so many unique ways. I will do a special one on that in the next few days, hopefully. Just to say, here you see in the base chart 2 degrees and something here in Aries. That's where Neptune and Saturn are right now, and will be for the rest of this year into 2026, making an exact conjunction, the one and only, on February 2026. And I will show you and tell you also, and maybe also in another recording, because it really, there's so many things I would like to share. I'm just usually packing too much into one episode, I guess. That's what I have to learn still. So anyway, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is the critical, most important, I would say, alignment we have in this year and next year together, as it's in the first 2 degrees of Aries, that very beginning of the zodiac. I actually looked through the ephemeris. I really was curious. So this is within 3,000 years, which I scanned through from the year 1 BC up to the year 3000 and something. I scanned through the ephemeris, and there's not one single other conjunction of Neptune and Saturn in the beginning of the sign Aries, the first 2-3 degrees or so. I took the first 2 degrees as a reference, because that's what it is. So in the Aries dwad of Aries, so to say, the first 2.5 degrees are always the most purest of any sign where there is the full force of this new energy at play. So this is that really super potent alignment, and this has been also shown in the Cropcircle formations. I really found that very interesting, and I show you why. So in 2025 we had 6 Cropcircles so far. This is the official site, which has all the archives too, if you're interested in looking through old years. Every year they keep the full archive since 1991. A fabulous site, also good to give some support if you feel like. Anyway, this year was an exceptionally low number of only 6 circles, 6 formations. The first started in June the 9th. Actually, these were the update. These are the updates I'm reading. May 15th, a Celtic circle, Celtic symbol showing the importance of England this whole year, of the Celtic culture being at the really at the center of evolution. And if we look at England right now, I guess really that's where things get the hottest right now, and where change will come first in a very radical way. We can see that already coming. It's very obvious. The powers who control are desperate. They take measures which are beyond good and bad. It's a play. Don't get too attached or detached either, but just watch it. That's neither accepting nor rejecting. Along that line, be the spectator, because to some degree it needs this intensity. It's like a torch which is getting things going. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. The second one was the 10 stations of Saturn and Neptune. Yes, I'm saying it that way because Neptune and Saturn meet every 36 years, very regularly. And this is as seen from the Sun, naturally, where they always move forward, where we don't have these overlapping times when planets move retrograde, which is due to Earth's changing position in the geometry of space. So from the heliocentric perspective, yes, every exactly 36 years Saturn and Neptune meet, and if you divide the circle by 36, you get the number 10. You get that? So in 360 years, 10. So this number 3672 is super important, and it keeps really showing in the next circles then too. This was June the 8th, May 15th, June 8th, and then it continues here in July with this one, magic, 5 star, 72, half is 36. So it has to do with magic too. The number 5, the number 10, Saturn and Neptune. Here again you have the 2 5 stars intertwined. Again makes the number 10. And outside we have 20 of these meanders standing for the 20 fingers and toes, the 20 day signs in the Mayan calendar. And again, it's connected to the number 36, to Saturn and Neptune. Now, what is so special about Saturn and Neptune? Saturn is the one which helps Neptune to be seen. And there's just little an anecdote. I might have told it already at some other point, but Neptune was first seen, as we know now in hindsight, by Galileo Galilei in 1609, when he was observing a occultation of Jupiter behind the moon. That is something rare, and he was able to calculate when that happened, and he had his telescope directed at Jupiter to look how it was disappearing behind the moon's body and then coming out on the other side again. And while he was watching that, he saw something else moving very slowly, but changing direction, position. Most certainly he has drawings in his diary, which is still in the museum. You could find it and look at it if you had the chance to go there. So he assumed this was a fixed star, even though it moved. And in hindsight, we know that is Neptune. So he could have discovered Neptune. What is that? 240 years earlier, something in that range. Anyway, Neptune was able to keep himself, I guess, concealed till 1846, when Saturn was very closely conjunct with Neptune, literally the same configuration more or less we have here, Saturn and Neptune. Saturn detaining Neptune, actually the assistant of the astronomer in Berlin, Germany, who discovered Neptune. So it was really the assistant who was working on the telescope and taking notes and looking. And that assistant was called, his name is Dare, D''Are, which translates, I guess everybody understands that, into arrest, detention. You can't be more clear on that. Saturn has that gift of nailing everyone down if necessary, as part of the kind of resoluteness and getting real, taking responsibility for the manifest world, for the gravitational energies which keep us here. Saturn is the one who makes sure things last. They're taken well care of. Is the conserver in a way, preserver. Anyway, so this is just, yes, now I get some visit here by our doggy. Hello Yatsi. But Daddy is working here. Yes, want to see her? Okay, here she is. Yes, that is Yatsi. Yes, sweetheart. Yes, but Daddy is recording. Thank you. Okay, let me close the door again. Thank you. Okay, here we are. Okay, little interruption break for something else, sometimes not a bad thing. So anyway, okay, with the Sun entering the centerpiece of the sign Leo into the celebratory high point of the season, that moment Jupiter is here at 13 degrees, in the 13th degree I should say, just approaching midheaven. Extremely powerful position for Jupiter, expansion, loudness if you want, and it is in the Scorpionic dwad, which enjoys the intensity of it. That's the beauty about Scorpio. It can't get too intense. It is kind of done when everything starts getting brighter colors and becoming alive and vivid. All of that is very much enjoyed by the Scorpionic energy, and midheaven here, by the way, is then in the Sagittarian Dwad here, starting at 12:30, with the Sagittarian moon in actually the powerful place 27 and 13 seconds. That is where the galactic center is right now, so just approaching the galactic center. So this was a super powerful moment, and with Jupiter here at the helm and resonating with the Declaration of Independence, I guess you definitely see where we're going here. This is an empowerment of the American nation. It's the rooting on the whole globe is now gaining momentum, and it is actually something we all probably are here in this community, at least I'm guessing most of us are rooting for change. And as I keep saying, we have to really look beyond dualities and polarizations. They are necessary. They are the fuel which keeps the show going. As I say, it's Shakespearean drama. Just really look at it that way. Yes, if you can outside and just watch, you are lucky. I am in that place, and I'll do everything I can to stay there and not get too involved and too much pulled in. But there is a fine balance, and I guess that's one of the reasons I'm not too often here online either, because I'm a very private person to start with. Anyway, that's a bit of something about myself. But this is a super powerful chart, and if you look at how it shows now in the United States, in the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence, which again I keep repeating that too, is much more than the birth chart of the United States. It is literally the birth chart of a new civilization, of new Earth. I would go that far. It is the foundation, the founding fathers who had this really great vision, and it just happened to be one Pluto cycle ago. So we are really now starting to pick up where they started and carry it onto a higher frequency band, a higher level of manifestation, so to say. So yes, I want to show you now the chart here for I guess it is this one here. No, this is the full moon. I think now I don't have it. Let me see. I don't think so. But never mind. Well, I'm promising something. So let's get there. It's not that hard. I know where it hides. Okay. Here we are. 302. Okay, this is that same moment for the birthplace of the United States, and here you see that is right at sunrise. Very beautiful, the sunrise chart here, and here the part of fortune with the moon. The moon again is the primal self. It's the emotional body, if you want, and in that sense it is linked much more to the belly, to the survival instinct, and just knowing what's right. Also, a child mostly lives in its lunar energy, so it is also that inner child within us, and which in a critical or dangerous situations, that is where you retreat back to. That's where you're acting from. Then you forget about that you and your neighbor are of a different religion or whatever, and you just intuitively go and help when you see there is urgency. We really are able to overcome our limitations when we are pushed through it. That's kind of this energy we see growing in general on this planet. It's that urgency to help one another. As I often said, Juno is super important in this present time. Juno, the asteroid of partnership, teamwork, the understanding that many pillars it needs to hold a big roof to build something awesome, something great. We have to really, just listen to each other and respect one another, and let everybody do their part. When that is allowed, then everybody is in there at their best and doing what he humanly can do to improve the well-being of everyone. That is natural. So here you see Pluto at the most powerful spot here for the American nation. So this is definitely you see that it's the fixed signs here, which means something is stabilized, really cemented into position. Again, it's the mid-season signs. Here you see the 4 signs we just highlighted as the high points of energy. That is definitely the fixed signs. That's why they can be so dominant in a way, because they the energy, the wave gravitates to it. It's the crest of the wave, and you get the picture. So this is a powerful chart in itself. Now let's venture back to other charts I have here lined up for you. The first one is, which was really the first major event after the sun had crossed that 1315 mark in Hexagram 7, now the army expressing through, and then there is Okiroi. Now Okiroi is one of the centaurs, actually only has a 24-year orbit around the sun, so that is kind of linking Jupiter and Saturn energy together. Okiroi is the daughter, named after, I should say, after that character in Greek mythology. She was the daughter of Chiron and Chariklo, the two well-respected centaurs, and Okiroi is about, actually I want to pull you up here what I found in the net, because I'm still learning too, but I have it open here. This is just takes a little while to load here. Are you coming? No, this seems not to. Let's see. Here is, okay, that's one side, and the other is now, no, it's just not reacting. Weird. Anyway, this is already now this disappeared too. Something is weird here. Okay, so this is the mythology. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's just hiding. Okay, Okiroi. Okay, in astrology. Okiroi's meaning in a chart can be summarized with acceleration in general, psychosynthesis in order to handle expansive career processes and harmonize them with the private life, to raise things, to reveal, uncover things, while this is not appreciated by everyone. So yes, the main thing is Okiroi is accelerating something. It's able to bring different parts in synchronization with each other. Psychosynthesis, interesting word. Harmonize things, raise things, reveal, uncover things. So it's about quite a positive energy, and there is more to it actually. It's Okay, I will post a link of that, you can read it yourself. Where I want to get is, okay, this is, okay, I guess it's this other site which I wanted to bring up, but it's not responding. Anyway, let me just tell you in a nutshell what I remember. It is about foretelling, about prediction. Okiroi had that gift and has foretold many things to the degree that she was silenced by the gods. She had to stop. Anyway, it just shows that it's an interesting energy to assess in the first place. And now I really think this will be a very powerful little agent in the background, and that's what this station tells me. So Okiroi is now going into internal mode. It has experienced what it has it taken it in, and the retrograde period will last for about 5 months roughly for all these outer slower planets. So the next 5 months, this is the chart which is showing how Okiroi functions. Now, without going too deep, just look at the moon here in the first degree of Capricorn, here in T-square with that Mars-Saturn opposition, just tuning in. So this moon is kind of the handle, the steering wheel, the needle of measurement, of adjustment here in between, and the moon again is the people. The energy of the people who are here to survive, to hold on to whatever is necessary to stay afloat. It is that energy at the very base which is the moon, which is the cement which holds everything and everyone together, which keeps us in tune with nature in a bigger way, and naturally we can more nourish that, go with it, help it, give it space, or we can be in conflict with it, as there is forces within us which want us to go in a certain direction and we resist. That is when we get too mental. But it is that phase 2 in the 4 quadrants, and I show you another, give you another little reason here, I hope, with what I want to just say here. And this is Oracle Girl, who often uses always the progression of physical, mental, emotional and spiritual. Now it is the 4 quadrants in a way, so it is physical, the first 90 degrees, mental, that is when we start understanding what's going on, who we are, why we're here, what we're meant to do, that whole organizational mental part. And then we are tapping into the emotional quadrant, which is all about relating and respecting that dynamic of male, female, of positive, negative, light, dark, all of that. That is really the mirror of ourselves in a way. It is ourselves, the first quadrant, mirrored in the world. And then the 4th is the spiritual. Makes lots of sense. And the spiritual is, in that sense, an extension of the mental. Yes, that's true too. We have to expand our mind to the point where mind is really becoming just the gate. We are getting there, and mind again, I mean, in a much more expansive way than just the thought process. Mind is much bigger than that. makes me think of Buddha, who was speaking of pure mind when your mirror is clean, when the lake is quiet, when there's no waves. So then that is pure mind. So this is really a beautiful graph here, which again I will share the site which I copied that from. Lots of beautiful insights, lots of wonderful work on the internet actually. Yes, we just have to find it and focus on it and not get sidetracked by all the dark stuff, which is naturally always amplified to the point of wanting to make people afraid. But there's so many good things happening in the background which we can't see. That's where I'm wanting to go here with what I'm saying. So let's look at a few other charts here. So I just want to tell you this. Okiroi is the amplifier. Look at it that way. The one which holds the threads of how to portray what she sees. It is a very interesting character to also in your personal chart. Now, why I didn't even mention that yet. Why I kept finding this was super important is because Okiroi is between Aries and Chiron. That's where she hides here. 2644. That is where she is right now, as she now has started going backward, but naturally first for a few days, probably not even more than 1 minute of arc. So she is perfectly here in between Aries and Chiron, that one conjunction which is so much in our face of its expressions. It is literally, truth is pulled out of the holes, challenged. Chiron is banging, doing everything to bring down and heal and rectify. And for that, yes, there is a little bit of suffering involved, particularly for those who are not ready to let go of the illusion, I would say. So it is really destroying the illusion. That is what's happening here with this Chiron Aries conjunction, which already was once exact, and now Chiron will be going backwards again and forward again. Heliocentric, they still have to catch up to one another, so it is still in the build-up really of that huge I would say purification which is going on in the mental plane, in the level of grasping and evaluating reality and our world. So interesting to here the midpoint of this of these two axes, ascendant and 10th house cusp, is the 28th degree of Sag. Again, remember this is the galactic center. So, and the moon still is here within reach. I mean, this is only a few hours after the sun entered that critical center area of Leo army, hexagram 7. Look it up if you wish. So the moon's still here in close proximity to the galactic center here. So now look at that. So the Okiroi amplifies. Look at that. So a few hours earlier the black moon was in exact opposition to TX300, and that is again a Greenwich chart, and we see the exact square point. So black moon TX300 is amplified by Okiroi, that's what it says, and they become a structure together. They resonate with each other, these two moments in time, because every moment, particularly the powerful ones, are like time capsules. They stay. Their frequency is there accessible as a coordinate in time and space. You have to look at it that way. These are all grids which are beyond time and space, really. It is something which might be a little hard, but astrology is the closest it can be to understanding that each moment is still accessible, available through particular events. For example, your birth, you are a time capsule of that moment when you were born. That's how simple it is. So when these two celestial points, planets, came into exact resonance with one another, that's kind of like a lightning bolt, and that puts a marker into the time-space continuum. And in that moment, well, I mean, it's just unbelievable. So why, what I want to say here, Black Moon, TX300, for those of you who do not really understand these two yet, Black Moon naturally is the shadow point, is the blind spot, if you will, what we push away, all the sorrow and grief and whatnot, rage and what we want to avoid in general. And TX300, one which makes everything much bigger. The Canadian truckers were beautifully described by this little planet, this Kuiper Belt object, discovered in 2002, a few hundred kilometers in diameter, yet unnamed. But that's the signature it received at when it was discovered in 2002. So yes, this is the amplification of the dark energies to make them really come into sight, and naturally Okiroi resonates with that. And then here you have the next one. That is then on the 9th in Greenwich time. Let me close this again. My computer is again doing its own thing. So Mars-Saturn opposition, yes, in Greenwich in 0 time at 2:52 a.m. As I showed you in Philadelphia, it is still the 8th of August. It's kind of the last it's kind of the last crescendo of the day, that Mars-Saturn opposition really harnessing this energy. And you see, this is actually the same chart as what I just shown you here. This one practically the same ascendant. So that means again that energy of bringing the dark energies really into front and center is further pushed into reality by this Mars-Saturn opposition in the second degree, and actually in the second degree of these cardinal signs of new beginnings. So yeah, I mean, I'm really super excited by what I see coming. It's still a bit process. Again, the critical date I will give you is February 2026, and just let's see. I'll show you quickly as I have it here. This is the one and only Saturn-Neptune conjunction of February 20th, 2026. And what you see here is the chart for Greenwich with the 28th degree of Aquarius here at the 7th house cusp, the real interaction point between heaven and earth on the active side. And this is the time of sunset, when really the energy is really very high still. when the sun is touching Earth the second time, and this is the yang side really, and you know, here in the Declaration of Independence chart, that's where the moon is, 2712 Aquarius. I mean, this is really the chart which resonates so well with what's going on. Yes, I know there's other charts around for the United States. This one is the one I'm assigned to. I can't help it, just works. I mean, just really another little detail, on July the 4th or so, there were all these many floods all over the US. That was when Neptune was stationary, turning retrograde here on the 4th of July, here at the 4th house cusp of the United States. Definitely, that's a very clear Neptune expression, manifestation, despite of what you think. Yes, I mean, even if it was man-made, this just shows again that whatever happens in the end is tolerated by nature, and it is part of the plan, if you wish, to get things from A to B, to bring this evolution to a absolute crescendo, to a place where the acceleration is so high that there's no way we won't be able to jump really that far into the next level up. So that's really it's kind of that that phase where you speed up towards the bar, and then you jump, and the greater your momentum is at the moment of the jump, pushing yourself off, the more chances are you really reach your target. So yes, the moon, and it's not finished. Look, this is the chart for Greenwich. So that is on the global level, the American nation, and again, this is much more than people in America. This is all those who are root for this transformation to be successful, and there's many people of that kind on all continents. And then if we zoom in onto Philadelphia for that same moment, this degree is at the helm of the chart, at the bow. It's really the focus point of consciousness, aside from the fact that it's perfectly between Mars and the Sun, the 27th degree of Aquarius again. I mean, it's uncanny. It definitely shows the American nation is the one which leads the way. And it is very important that we support them as much as we can, even though, like we here in Canada, I mean, it's kind of it's laughable in a way, the whole situation. But you get what I mean. If we can transcend borders, if we can look a bit farther than what we experience at home, then we will see this is the leading edge of the revolution which is going on, which is the bringing into visibility the dream. That's really what it is. This, you see, it is really in the first degree of Aries. I mean, it's beautiful. It's very, very powerful. This is a recreation we have not seen on this planet for many, many, many thousands years. As I say, I scanned through 3,000 years, and I found there were, let me just show you as I have it here. I really wanted to know. I guess it's here hiding. Yeah, Saturn and Nessus. No, did I just close it? Oh gosh, file. I guess I just closed it. Sorry. Yeah, I clicked on it. Anyway, never mind. I found that there were cardinal points activated in about every 300 years, but the 0 Aries, which is the most important, really the beginning point, yes, not once in 3,000 years. So anyway, that's all I have here. I just wanted to give you a heads up, and hope you come back and give it a like, share it if you wish, and yeah, don't forget to look in the description, all the links which I have there. Okay, thank you for being here. Love you all. Bye bye.